tonight. Questions surround the death of a young boy on a southern Saskatchewan First Nation. Premier Scott Moe reflects on 2025, including one of his biggest regrets. And a delivery of some very special Barbie dolls for some Regina kids.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Monday, December 22nd, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. RCMP are investigating the death of a young boy on Ochapowace First Nation. Police say the death is not considered suspicious, but they are addressing rumors about what might have happened. Aishwarya Duda has our top story.
Investigators are still trying to figure out how a 12-year-old boy died on Ochapowace First Nation over the weekend. RCMP say they're aware of rumors that animals were potentially involved, but they can't confirm that. So they're cautioning the public against taking any action toward animals in the community. They also don't know if weather conditions played a role. What we do know is that the young boy left a home on Ochapowace late Saturday afternoon. Police say he left on foot around 5 o'clock and was on his way to another home in the community. But about 3 hours later, he was found dead several hundred meters away from where he left by someone who was passing by. In an email to CBC, Ochapowace First Nation Chief Shelley Bear says the community is focusing on supporting the family and one another, allowing the investigation to run its course. People in the community are responding to the incident on social media. In a Facebook post, the Whitewood Fire Department says it's deeply saddened by the tragic loss of a 12-year-old child. Our hearts are with the family, friends, and community who are grieving an unimaginable loss. Police say no further details about the boy are being released for now. The province's coroner service will conduct an autopsy to determine the cause of death. Aishwarya Duda, CBC News, Saskatoon.
One person is dead after a carbon monoxide incident in Regina on Friday evening. It happened in this multifamily building downtown at the corner of Albert Street and 11th Avenue. Regina Fire says crews were called there shortly after 10 p.m. The fire department says one person was taken to hospital in critical condition, while another was pronounced dead at the scene.
There was some mechanical work being done in the building on some of the service equipment. That piece of service equipment was indeed identified as the source of the carbon monoxide release, and firefighters along with gas inspectors were able to isolate it, shut it down that evening, and it eliminated the carbon monoxide hazard.
Fire crews detected dangerous levels of carbon monoxide inside. Regina Fire says all other residents were cleared from the building and were not allowed to return until Saturday afternoon. Meanwhile, officials remain on site and the investigation is ongoing. Public health experts across the country are keeping a close eye on a jump in the number of flu cases this holiday season. This year's available vaccine isn't a good match for H3N2, the current predominant influenza strain, but doctors are still urging people to get their shots.
The flu vaccine is actually a vaccine against 3 different strains of the flu, because the flu is not one thing. There's actually multiple strains circulating, and when the flu vaccine is developed, because it has to be made several months in advance of the flu season, you have to make some sort of prediction about what the most likely circulating strains are going to be. And so based on what's happening in the southern hemisphere during their winter, our summer, we sort of predict what's going to happen during our winter, our flu season.
There's particular concern over the low vaccination uptake this winter, with many provinces, including Saskatchewan, reporting only around 20% of eligible residents have received the flu vaccine. A case of equine herpes virus has been confirmed in Saskatchewan, just as officials had been warning it could spread here. The Moose Jaw Exhibition Company confirmed a case was recently discovered at the Peak Veterinary Health Clinic outside of Moose Jaw. The disease, which affects horses, is preventable through vaccination, but the risk of a horse contracting it increases in larger gatherings like rodeos. The relatively mild illness can cause potentially deadly neurological subsets known as EHM. Symptoms can go away within a couple of weeks, but once a horse contracts the virus, it carries it forever. Premier Scott Moe says he is the person to lead Saskatchewan into the future. Moe sat down with us for a look back at 2025 and also gave us a glimpse into his personal life with something a little more unexpected. Alexander Kwan has more.
I still believe in this province. I still believe in this party, and I believe in all that we can become.
It's a simple answer to a not-so-simple question. Why does Premier Scott Moe, a man who has won 2 straight majority governments, want to continue to lead the Saskatchewan party through an election that could come as late as 2028?
I see some very choppy waters in the near term. I see all the opportunities in the distance, but some very choppy waters in the near term. A time when this province needs a steady hand.
And Moe believes he is the right person to provide stability as the province continues to cope with uncertainty around trade with the United States and China. In a year-end interview, Moe explains one of the ways he's dealing with that uncertainty is by having a better relationship with Prime Minister Mark Carney than he had with Justin Trudeau.
He collaborates as opposed to dictates on what policies are moving forward. He listens. And we may not agree, but at least our voice is being heard through the policy development it appears at least through the policy development that the federal government is making.
As for whether a solution to those trade problems is any closer, Moe says that's not clear. The Premier did take a moment to highlight one of his biggest regrets of the year, failing to visit the fire-ravaged village of Denair Beach. More than 200 homes in the northern village were destroyed as a wildfire swept through the area in June. But Moe would not visit the community until the end of September. He says that was a lapse in judgment.
I should have been there to look people in the eye and to listen to the stories and to tell them that the government is not only here to support the community and the families today, but into the future.
The government will continue to face scrutiny on its fire response in the new year with a review that's yet to be released. But reflecting on the year also brings some joy. Here's how the Premier responded when asked about his favorite Christmas movie.
We have some kids running around the house every now and again, and there's a new movie out. It's not really a Christmas movie, but I can sing all of their songs, and it's called K-pop, Demon Hunters. Soda pop.
You heard it here first. Scott Moe is a secret Korean pop fan.
Soda pop.
Alexander Kwan, CBC News, Regina.
Buckley Belanger is wrapping up his first year as Secretary of State for Rural Development. Belanger says rural Canada could play a big role in a retooled economy less reliant on U.S. trade. The Des Nethé-Missinippi Churchill River MP is the only Liberal to win a seat here in the spring election. Between an unprecedented wildfire season and international trade wars, it's been a busy year for Belanger. He says provincial buy-in is important for Prime Minister Mark Carney's economic vision and credits the PM for improving how Ottawa works with provinces and Premier Scott Moe in particular.
You just throw in all the possibilities that Saskatchewan has to offer. And of course, the Prime Minister recognizes that. And I think that Premier wants to build on that. So the relationship dictates that we all have a self-interest in strengthening Saskatchewan's role within Canada.
Belanger was a longtime provincial NDP MLA and cabinet minister. He was elected to his current seat in April's federal election. The federal government has presented a new $35 billion plan to reform the First Nations child welfare system. It's the latest step in a fight that has stretched nearly 20 years.
We are looking to ensure fewer children in care, ideally none, fewer children entering into the system for the first time, ensuring that there is shorter periods of care, and that more children are placed within community with those that they know and love.
The offer is worth less than a plan proposed by the Trudeau government, but it does offer an annual ongoing commitment worth billions. A group of First Nations chiefs and children's advocates is filing a competing proposal with a bigger price tag. It estimates the cost to fix the First Nations Child and Family Services as closer to $50 billion over the next 10 years. 9 years ago, the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal concluded the federal government had discriminated against First Nations children by underfunding the on-reserve welfare system. Canada Post has reached a tentative deal with its union, with a ratification vote set for early next year. The agreements cover urban and rural delivery and include higher wages, enhanced benefits, and a weekend parcel delivery model. If passed, the deal would last into 2029. The Crown Corporation has faced financial difficulties for years. Well, some good news if you're looking to take a skating break in Saskatoon this holiday season. All recreational ponds in the city are now safe to skate on. The ice has to be at least 8 inches thick for that to happen, but it's still a good idea to look for the signs that tell you that skating is permitted, especially if things warm up. Doesn't look like we'll have to worry about that, though. Weather specialist Mickey Wolf is back with a look at our chilly forecast after the break. A Cree fashion designer from Saskatchewan is creating something she can pass on to her kids and other Indigenous youth. Aishwarya Duda shows us how Stephanie Gamble found success even when the odds were against her.
So this dress specifically, I custom made it for my size.
Stephanie Gamble is breaking cycles of intergenerational trauma one stitch at a time. From navigating foster care to doing fashion shows around the world, the Cree fashion designer is rewriting her destiny.
Came from nothing to going to New York City Fashion Week and just creating programs for different youth. I basically turned my pain into power, trial into triumph.
The single mother from Beardy's in Ochapowace's Cree Nation says she was surrounded by addiction growing up and had no sense of her cultural identity. Then in her late 20s, a friend gifted her a sewing machine, and she taught herself how to sew. She'll never forget the moment when she asked her mom to put on one of her first creations.
And her face lit up, like she was so happy, and she was like dancing around, and I was just like, this is what I need to do for like women who went through so much in their life, to give them that empowerment, that transformation, and that inspiration.
Soon, her bold, Indigenous-inspired creations began garnering attention, and she was invited to Fashion Week in New York, Paris, and Milan, bringing young Indigenous models with her.
I used to be a very shy girl, not talkative. I wouldn't even make conversation with you right now. But to be able to build that confidence over time and to speak well, it's an amazing journey.
Gamble likes to team up with her friend Heather Bouchier. They've put on several fashion shows, including this one for Two-Spirit Youth in Saskatoon.
Hopefully inspire people to, that we're not just about our trauma.
That doesn't mean life is easy now for Gamble. Her brother recently died from an overdose, so she moved to Calgary to give herself and her daughters a fresh start. Now, she's preparing to open her first store.
It's like a milestone, like a sense of accomplishment. I've done these fashion shows. I've traveled the world. What's next, So me, it's almost like a level up.
She wants to create a legacy for her children, both financially and culturally. Aishwarya Duda, CBC News, Saskatoon.
The North Central Family Centre in Regina has received some very special and handmade donations just in time for Christmas. And the story behind the anonymous gifts are touching the hearts of staff and delighting the recipients. Katie Swires has that story.
What are you doing, Kim? I got a dog. Christmas came early for Maya and Kimmy. The two sisters were the first to receive Barbie dolls with handmade outfits. Is there anything special about them, what they're wearing? The skirts. 10 dolls, each carefully packaged with several clothes, including orange shirts and blue ribbon skirts. The regalia represents strength and resilience for many Indigenous women.
We get a lot of donations in, right? Especially around Christmas time now, where we are getting a lot of gifts in to give at the children in our community. However, we don't see a lot of handmade gifts where people take the time and, handcraft them themselves. And this was very special.
The woman who donated the dolls wishes to remain anonymous, but she told staff she makes the ribbon skirts every year.
She makes them in honor of her niece, who they lost when she was 5. And so she made these in the hopes of making other girls happy.
The woman said she was inspired by the story of Isabella Kulak. The young girl from Ochapowace First Nation was shamed 5 years ago for wearing her ribbon skirt to a formal day at school. Her experience sparked a national movement. Warshuk made a Facebook post about the donation and the story behind it. Shortly afterwards, a second woman donated more dolls with custom ribbon skirts.
You don't see much Barbies that come in with ribbon skirts, and I think it's a beautiful thing to see now, because as a little girl, that was not something that I've seen.
Young Indigenous girls growing up and then having the dolls, it's part of reconciliation about how, like, you're not to be afraid to show your culture, your identity.
The second woman also wishes to remain anonymous. 9-year-old Maya has a message for both women.
Thank you for making those dolls.
The North Central Family Center is currently accepting donations for the holidays. Maya says she and her sister are looking forward to playing with their new dolls. Katie Swires, CBC News, Regina.
And weather specialist Mickey Wolf joining us now. I thought the weekend was pretty cold, Mickey, but apparently I don't know what's coming.
Well, Ethan, it was cold, but things somehow got colder as we've gotten into early this week, folks. We've seen some very, very chilly temperatures across Saskatchewan, especially with wind chill. Let's take a look at some of those cold warnings that are active from Environment Canada right now. We've got a cold warning across most of the central part of the province, as well as the far north. So tonight in the central region, we're looking at wind chill temperatures down to -40, but in the far north, things are looking about -45 to -50 overnight tonight and into the morning hours. So very cold. Our daytime highs, you know, in Cornac, lucky you, daytime high of just at freezing, right around 0 degrees. And then things definitely looking colder, especially again with those wind chill values as we move north across Saskatchewan. And the winds certainly helped things feel quite a bit colder. Swift Current in Regina seeing those gusts up to 60 kilometers an hour today. So definitely a bit of a windier one for southern Saskatchewan. But coming up, we've got a little bit more snow in our forecast, but the snow tonight so far is looking like it's moving steadily out of the province and into Manitoba. Let's take a look at our skies, folks. We've got that snow again making its way out of the province this evening. And then we've got a nice high pressure system coming in, stabilizing those skies a little bit, maybe seeing a little bit of snow tomorrow. We've got a little bit of cloud cover as well as we get into Wednesday, but so far not a ton of snow this week. We're seeing a little bit of snow coming in, just shy of 1 centimeter for Kindersley by Wednesday, and then Thursday we will see a little bit more moderate snowfall coming in, especially Hudson Bay and Meadow Lake sort of anchoring each side of the central region there with up to 10 centimeters of snow, about 5 centimeters for Saskatoon, but otherwise looking pretty dry for the south. And then in the north, we've got a little bit of gradual snowfall this week. We're looking at a little bit more, again, steadier numbers, up to 12 centimeters for Cumberland House in the Churchill region. These are our wind chill values tomorrow. We're looking at down to -22 feeling for Regina tomorrow morning. But our week forecast ahead, we do have a little bit of a warm up Wednesday and Thursday, so we might see some snow in Regina for the 25th, but things are overall going to feel warmer before we cool down again over the weekend, and then hopefully warming up next week for the tail end of December. And then Saskatoon, again, we're going to see potentially a little bit of snow Wednesday, and then Friday for the 26th for Boxing Day, we might see up to 5 centimeters, so not a great day to be hitting the roads if we do see that. But Ethan, hopefully we're going to see a warm up at least next week, but we've got to get through some chilly mornings before then.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I don't know about you. I don't mind a little bit of snow on Christmas Day. Makes it feel that much more Christmassy.
Oh, I absolutely welcome the snow on Christmas, Ethan. I'm here for it.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, we'll wait for it then. Mickey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, this gingerbread community has 755 structures. A New York baker made and decorated all of them. Now, you Martha Stewarts out there might have noticed a less than perfect approach to his creations, but hey, he says that's part of the charm. A skyscraper is part of the plan for Gingerbread Lane next Christmas. Stay with us. We're back after the break. A Second World War veteran from Swift Current hit a significant milestone this past Saturday, celebrating his 100th birthday. Robert Watson is the oldest member of the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 56. The veteran was honored and celebrated by his family, friends, and the community as he aged into triple digits over the weekend.
It's quite an honor. It's it's a surprise to me, and it's really quite an honor. They're taking pretty good care of me. So can't complain about a thing.
Mr. Watson's been a great bridge between generations here in Swift Current, being able to tell his story and meet with the youth of Swift Current and stuff. And, it's something very special, and able to tell the story of not only himself, but his comrades. It's very important that we continue to talk about what our veterans have done for Canada and their service and sacrifice.
Even Premier Scott Moe took a moment to make a birthday post on X for the 100-year-old. Watson says he was pleasantly surprised by the amount of people who came out to celebrate with him, making his birthday very special. And a big happy birthday to him. Here's hoping maybe he can get a birthday present that includes some warmer weather, Mickey.
Ethan, I think we can deliver on that for him, especially where he's at in the province. Hopefully things will look a bit warmer by the time we hit the 25th. But for now, let's take a look at our overnight temperatures across the province. Things are still a little bit chillier tonight in the south and central regions. We're looking at those temperatures around -20 up to -30. But then again, folks, that wind chill is going to make things look colder, especially if you're in the central region with that active cold warning. And speaking of active cold warnings, we've got one active for the far north as well tonight, with those temperatures with wind chill feeling like -45 to -50. And those cold temperatures with wind chill values are going to hang on into the morning hours for the far north. Churchill region will see a little bit of a warm up by the time we get to the midday hours. In the south and central regions, we are seeing a little bit of a warm up tomorrow, not quite as big of a warm up as we will see by Thursday, but at least a break of sun and cloud. So Ethan, I'm hanging on for those warmer temperatures as we get into the 25th this week.
Yeah, we will hope for those. Okay, Mickey, thank you.
Thank you.
And that is our news for this Monday. For more news anytime, you can always head to cbc.ca/sask or subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel or download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thanks so much for watching.